I'm going to give you a little bit of background on multimodal ebooks, explain what they are, and we're going to actually look at some of them. I've downloaded some on my computer, and then I'm going to have you do a group activity. So I want you to take notes on what you see that you believe may improve children's reading, and then I'd like to share some of your answers, and then we're going to explore the latest research, what researchers found. Quite a few studies were done, and I want to share them with you. So why don't we go ahead and get started. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Hani Morgan, and I am an associate professor of education at the University of Southern Mississippi. And one of the areas that I specialize in is technology and how it can help, but also lead to problems. So we're going to look at it from both perspectives today, how multimodal ebooks can benefit children, but also how they can be overused or distract children. So let me go ahead and start and first explain what a multimodal ebook is. Multimodal ebooks are electronic books that include many more formats than print books. For example, they include video. This is not all of them, by the way. There are differences. Some multimodal ebooks include many more features than others, but generally they include many features than print books, such as video, animation, independent images. Many of them also include sound, music, and the newest ones are available, and you can use them on an iPad, an iPod, or some other type of e-reader. And these ones are really neat because they allow children to manipulate the text. And as I mentioned, I'm going to show you a few examples and have you take notes, and then we can share some of your answers regarding how they can benefit but also distract students. So, in order for a book to be multimodal, it doesn't necessarily have to be electronic. For example, children's books, which are picture books, are multimodal because they include a dual format. Children learn from both the illustrations and also from the words. So, the visual component of picture books can be especially beneficial for emergent readers and children with other types of disabilities because it makes the books enjoyable. And this is very, very important. So let me also give everybody a background on children with reading difficulties, why they have problems with reading, and how multimodal ebooks can be beneficial. Many children have difficulties with reading, and as a result, they don't like it because they have negative experiences. So when teachers assign them to read a book, they may daydream and not be engaged. Other children have learning disabilities which prevent them from reading as well as others. So one of the advantages of ebooks is that they give students more ways to make meaning. And as a result, they make reading enjoyable and easier for many students. And this is one of their advantages. All right, let me continue talking about children's reading difficulties. Children entering kindergarten, for example, and the early elementary grades who have had few literacy experiences from birth and onward frequently exhibit poor vocabulary development and lack an awareness of print. These children often have limited bedtime reading exposure, and they may come from homes where their parents' reading levels are low. As I mentioned earlier, when children have difficulties with reading, they tend to be unmotivated. They have problems, they don't make sense out of words, and as a result, when teachers give them books to read, they have negative experiences because they simply don't understand much. In addition, some children are good readers, but they just don't understand the purpose of reading. Many of the characters in their books don't match their real-life experiences, and as a result, they have negative experiences in reading as well because they just lack motivation. So the question is, how can we motivate and reach these students? And multimodal ebooks contain certain beneficial aspects which can make them motivate students. And I'm going to talk about these motivating aspects as well as show you a few clips, and we can share your answers together. It's very, very important for teachers to intervene with these children, because if teachers don't make reading fun, if they don't make reading easier, then it's likely that children will experience the well-known Matthew effect. Let me explain what the Matthew effect for those of you who may not be familiar with it. This term was first used by Merton in 1968 to describe a phenomenon in the field of science. Merton used the term because he believed that eminent scientists often received more credit for making the same discoveries as lesser-known scientists. And he called this the Matthew effect because it was very similar to a biblical passage which I'm about to read to you. And here it is. For to all those who have, more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. The reason I'm referring to this Matthew effect is because many reading researchers also use it to describe what will happen if we don't intervene and offer poor readers help. For example, Quirk and Schwanenflugel say that in reading, the idea is based on the belief that good readers will become better because they like reading, they find it enjoyable, therefore they will do more of it and become even better. Whereas poor readers will become worse because they don't like it and they won't participate in reading or daydream and not be engaged. And as a result, the gap between good readers and poor readers will widen. So it's very, very important for teachers to intervene and to reach students who may find reading unmotivating or not be good at it. And ebooks can be used for this purpose. But as I mentioned, they can also lead to some problems which we're going to explore in just a few seconds. So, providing support rather, is very important. And I'm going to talk a little bit about multimodal strategies and why they can be extremely beneficial. When teachers implement research-based strategies designed to support struggling readers, they often create more opportunities for children to make meaning from text and also to have pleasant experiences that will likely enhance motivation. So now let me start talking about technology and the multimodal component of ebooks that can make them motivating and also make reading easier. Using resources that include a variety of modalities generally works very well with students because when teachers use this method of teaching, they very often allow students to make meaning through various formats. The ones that I mentioned earlier, for example, the pictures, the video, the sound. So also, many students have their own preferred way of learning. And when teachers use technology, they very often reach these students, and as a result, they become motivated and they find reading easier also. There are also other reasons to use technology. Our world has become very, very technology-oriented, and students generally are much more adept at using technology today. So when teachers use technology, they allow students to remain connected to the world